Oh, okay. Fuck me. You know.
Stupid bitch.
You're stupid.
Dumb broad.
What's my Valentine's Day balloon bear there?
Dumb broads. Swear, I gotta deal with you guys all the time. You're not supposed to be eating on the podcast.
I don't care. I'm hungry.
You're gonna pay some taxes.
Wait, no. You
You're gonna pay some taxes.
get the rest of the bag.
Why do that?
Yeah.
It's like a smoke signal went up. It's like a Batman sign.
Smells bacon or smells popcorn. He's coming out.
He's ready to come out of his room. That's the only time he comes out
I
of
smell
his room.
popcorn. Did you really smell that back there?
A little bit.
It's not burning. We can pop another bag if you want, but just...
Alright, I love you. Bye. Austin died on the game, so I can't hear the check.
Oh, okay. I did your countdown for you.
5. Your countdown sucked, by the way. 4, 3, 5.
Love you.
I love you too. I have popcorn.
All right. Well, welcome to episode 39 of Close Encounters.
39?
39 of these we've done. And we've lost a couple due to recording errors. So we're really at like 40 plus, but 39 official videos on the
Recording
YouTube.
errors do we have?
We have some of the lost episodes.
We have lost episodes?
We have lost episodes. Yep. So, big Valentine's Day yesterday. Woo! I bought this super cool thing for Sam.
Yeah, super great Valentine's.
You're going to be negative. Here it comes.
Took the oldest to the dermatologist. And then we went for tacos.
Hey, it's just a made-up holiday. Okay? So, bought this cool thing for Sam. She seemed to like it.
I really did like it. It's really cool.
It's like you both put your hands, like we did it. So, like, you hold hands, and you put it in this, like...
But yeah, we held hands like we're best friends, not like we're lovers. But, teach their own.
Well, this is how the picture was in the thing.
Hey,
but,
is there a way to cast it? Like, if you're like,
all right, settle down. So...
Did you put your penis in?
No, settle down. You put it in this, like, mix, and it turns into, like, a gel. So you have your hands, like...
It's like a plaster, so you can mold it.
But it's not. It was like gel. Like, so it's a liquid, and then you leave them in there for... How long was it? Like 5 minutes?
5 to 6 minutes, but we did it for 7 to 8 minutes.
And it,
because
like...
it just didn't feel
you
like it
could
was...
feel it kind of start...
It got heavy.
Yeah, it gets like where you can't move your hand as much.
Yeah.
Then when you pull it out, it's like jelly almost, but it forms, and then you pour in a mix that's basically... It's not concrete, but it's plaster, and then it forms, and you let it sit for like 4 hours, and you peel the rubber stuff away. But it's crazy because it has like veins and like wrinkles and like I would have never
the
thought
knuckle wrinkles. You can see like the wrinkles on like my wrist.
I would have thought it would have been that detailed. It's wild. I was like, this is gonna look bad because like when you pull your hands out, you're like, this is not gonna look good. But I mean, it looks like a sculpture or something. Like you can see like the veins in my hand. You can even see like little pores, like where like the hair grows out and stuff. It's wild.
Ripped your hair off.
Yeah, there was a bunch of hair sticking to the mold when we pulled. Because like when I pulled it out, I was like, it's pulling my hair. It's pulling my hair. So I got a little bit less hand hair, but that's okay.
Well, that happens every summer when you light the grill at the beach house. You always lose a little bit of...
A little bit. You get a little singe when you light the charcoal and it kicks back on you. So, what was the other thing you said you wanted to talk about? You had something you wanted to say.
I did?
Yeah. Was it about this? So our youngest is doing...
Art.
Yeah, he's 5.
Called an art project.
This is a smart water bottle filled with rocks and leaves.
And acorns.
and frozen.
And there may be a dead lizard in there. He said he doesn't remember if he put it in there or not.
So he just he'll put stuff in a bottle and freeze it. It's just and we find stuff in the freezer. I'm like, what? I don't know what that means, but
Not that long ago, I got up, I was in here, I was making my coffee, and I like iced coffee, especially during hot days. And I went to the freezer to get ice, and I opened it up, and there's a bowl frozen with ice, with another bowl on top of it frozen with ice, with a pickleball frozen inside of it.
yeah, I'm like, why?
And
why?
I didn't
Why?
know this was in there until I opened the freezer on a Monday morning, and I said,
For what?
I said,
what
why
purpose?
did you do this? And he said, I wanted to see what was going to happen. I said, what did you think was going to happen? He goes, I was hoping it was going to explode.
Like,
By the way, we don't play pickleball, so I don't know where he got the pickleball from.
he got it from the park when we were up there. but-
I just, like Tom Segura with I put the crowns in the mailbox. Like, why are we putting shit in the freezer? So just now when I went to go get this out as the prop for tonight's, podcast. I mean, look at this shit. And it's frozen sideways. That's the other thing. He literally made it art. It's not frozen long ways. It's frozen
I'm okay.
this way. When I went to go get that out, I found a gallon Ziploc bag full of water and 2 marbles. Can anyone explain this?
I'm okay.
Get your shit
Sorry.
together.
Yeah, must be the plaster.
Can someone please tell me why my kid wants to freeze shit? Put it in the mailbox. Give it to the
It's
mailman.
like little baby Dexter or something,
Jeffrey Dahmer. It's Dahmer.
He didn't freeze anybody.
Oh, Dexter froze people. Not so
It was no, it was the brother.
The brother.
The brother and
froze.
Dexter was
yeah,
freezing.
the brother.
He was freezing them before he cut them up.
The one that gave people prosthetic arms and legs.
All right, so I sent Sam this article, and she was like, "Please don't send me stuff like this."
You're fucking my shit up.
There is apparently an asteroid on the way to Earth, and it said, I think it was 20. Yeah, they're saying
2032.
it will either pass very close to Earth or hit the planet in December of 2032.
The good news is it's gonna hit Indonesia.
It was like
Asia,
Africa, so,
South America. It's not gonna hit America.
But and this is not a huge, but it said it's a 2% chance it'll hit us. I'm like, that seems kind of big.
Big chance.
Yeah, it'll probably miss us. But it said it was. I think it said here it is. It says it'll hit with 500 times the power of the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. That's a lot. That's not a like a pebble hitting the earth.
Just so we're clear, don't share shit like this with me.
Yeah, Sam was like, please don't send me stuff like this. And I was like, well, I just thought it was interesting. We can talk
So
about
between now and 2032, I'll be waking up with night terrors at 2:30 in the morning, wondering what's going to happen when it hits.
I think it said it was it would be the size of the Eiffel Tower is how big it was.
Oh, grand.
So it seems like a big one. Hopefully it'll miss us.
I don't know. We'll find out in 2032, I guess.
We got a few years, so everyone stay
But
calm.
between now and then, I'll have every nightmare possible.
I don't think Bruce Willis is gonna, like they said, it's already too late to deflect it. I'm like, well, we gotta try something here, boys. We gotta get Bruce and Affleck.
Billy Bob.
Yeah, Billy Bob.
Oh,
Landman. Yeah.
Have you guys watched Landman? We watched it. We're obsessed with it.
We talked about it last week, didn't we? Because we just started it, but
We just started it, but we haven't talked about how we ran through it in less than a week.
yeah, it sucks you in. When you can binge watch something and they're all the episodes are on there. I don't like when they release
Like Reacher. Reacher's once a week.
Yeah, like when it comes out, it's like every Friday. It's how cable used to be when the show came on once a. I'm like, let's just wait until it's all released, and then we can watch 2 or 3 episodes a night or whatever it is, and burn through them. But I wanted to tell you this story. I didn't tell you much about it because this is something I've heard multiple times.
Is it going to scare me?
I don't think it's so scary. No. So, I've heard this on multiple podcast. Okay. So this is about G.E. Kincaid. Was an explorer. This is in early 1900s. But this article, like I Googled it because I wanted to have some stuff about it. But basically, he went exploring in the Grand Canyon. Okay. And I'm scrolling through here a little bit. But it says about 40 miles up the river from the El Tovar Crystal Canyon, Kincaid saw stains in the sediment formation about 2,000 feet up. He tied off his boat. He just went down like the river or whatever, the little bit of water that's there, and said, okay. He said he was going to try to find a trail to go up and see what it was. He couldn't. It says... but he found some steps. So it says the steps wound their way up to a high shelf on the side of the canyon. Followed the steps up until he came across a cavern entrance, and it looked like it was man-made. It said Kincaid entered the cavern and turned on his flashlight. On the walls he saw writing, but it wasn't English or Native American. It was ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. So this is in America. Okay, so it says he lifted his flashlight, saw the tunnel ran far into the distance. He didn't realize it at the time, but this was only the beginning. He tied off his bow and investigated the strange coloration of the rock wall. He was hoping he would find clues that led to a mineral deposit, but he wasn't expecting to find hieroglyphics, obviously. He said he noticed chisel marks on the wall, went further into the cave. It says the main passageway is about 12 feet wide, narrowing down to 9 feet toward the farther end, about 57 feet from the entrance. So this is like stuff, I've heard this on multiple podcasts and stuff, and this goes into the whole conspiracy theory that stuff like this gets covered up, like when they find stuff like this. So, because it throws off all the timelines of everything. It says most of the rooms were about the size of a normal living room today, though some are 30 to 40 feet, across.
Wait, is this the part of the Grand Canyon that is marked off that no one can go to?
Yeah. Now, we've talked about that before. So there's certain parts of the Grand Canyon that they say you cannot go to, and if you try to go to them,
you were arrested.
People pull up in SUVs, helicopters will fly over. You cannot get to them. And I've seen videos and stuff on YouTube, different stuff where people pull up and, they're like, oh, we're just, we're hiking. And they're like, yeah, you can't be here. Like, this is government. It's owned by the U.S. government. Which, I'm like, it's a national park. So, yes, but like one of the things that I saw said it's owned by the U.S. government. He said, well, why can't we just explore it? Like, you can't even get a
permit.
It's up to you. Like, if you go to Yellowstone and you explore and you fall or a bear eats you or whatever, like, you can go to parks. Like, the Grand Canyon has certain areas you cannot go to. Like, it's too dangerous. Well, it's your choice. If you want to go, like, you can go to Mount Everest. You want to climb Mount Everest and freeze to death or die, like, nobody stops you.
So they're clearly...
So it's very odd that, like, there's certain parts that you cannot go to, and that's what the speculation is that this is in some of those areas. So, it says, I'm going to go down a little bit further here. He said it was a huge man-made complex carved out of the rock. He estimated that as many as 50,000 people could have lived there. In some rooms, he found granaries with shelves of glazed pottery, many of which contained seeds. He found cooking areas. In a huge dining hall, the rooms were strewn with ancient artifacts. He carefully wrapped a few small metal and ceramic objects for later study. I'm just scrolling through here, so I don't read this whole thing. But there's workbenches. That was one of the things they said. There was it almost looked like a blacksmith area, like to make tools and stuff, like where they.
And this is somewhere that we cannot go.
No. And it says here that he came across another large room, a crypt. The crypt had a shelf upon shelf and row upon row of mummies, dozens of them. At this point, he realized if it was going to be something that he was going to explore the entire thing, he was going to need some help. So Kincaid sent a few artifacts to the Smithsonian, who is known to cover stuff up,
Yep.
along with his notes of what he had found, who requested financial and logistical support for what he felt was probably the most significant archaeological discovery ever made. The Smithsonian agreed. A few weeks later, Professor S.A. Jordan arrived with a team of about 40 scientists, researchers, and laborers to excavate and explore the ancient underground city. Now, with more lights and manpower, the scientists realized that the cave system layout wasn't random. It was symmetrical, deliberately designed, and the tunnels all led to a central chamber. In that chamber was a large statue that Kincaid thought looked like Buddha, which is like Indian.
Yeah.
So it's like mixing like all these cultures and stuff. It goes on, but the biggest thing was that there was mummies, there was different stuff. It says that Kincaid, Jordan, and the Smithsonian team explored the entire cave complex. They were overwhelmed with evidence that was not some faraway temple occupied by a few priests. This was a huge city lived in by thousands of women and children for hundreds or possibly thousands of years. Okay. By the end of the expedition, G.E. Kincaid and Professor Jordan's team had discovered hundreds of rooms, barracks, granaries, metalworking shops, temples, and many living quarters. Many of the rooms were empty, but they did find swords and shields made of copper, bronze, and gray metal that they couldn't identify, and they thought it looked like platinum. They found pottery, urns, utensils, cooking, just all this stuff in there. It says, even with the relics and writings, Kincaid and Jordan found there were no closer to who built these rooms. Some of the statues looked Tibetan, but they weren't quite right. The writing looked Egyptian, but again, it wasn't quite right. It says there were experts on site, none of whom could identify the statues or translate any of the text. So it almost is like it evolved into, like we've talked about, like if you go somewhere, something happens and then you take a culture and you move it somewhere else for thousands of years, it changes. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as like people from England coming to America. When we go back to England, it's not the same thing as it was. Yeah. You know, it's drastic because you get away from the base of the culture or the accent or whatever, and everything starts to shift. Eventually, from what I've heard, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but they basically covered it up. So, and denied.
Well, yeah, if you can't get to it when you go where it's at and you pull up to it and it.
Well, this says the Smithsonian Institute has publicly stated there are no artifacts of this type in the G.E. Kincaid story and have ever been found in North or South America, and that the Institute has never been involved in any research or excavations like this in the Grand Canyon or anywhere else. So, but there's a lot of...
Well, now we have Trump, so maybe it'll get released.
He'll release it. He's coming after the Smithsonian. There's so much stuff, though, like where people have sent in stuff to the Smithsonian to study, and it never comes back. And then they lose it. Like, if you find... There's a lot of stuff about, like...
Do you think they lose it because it's nothing worthy, or do you think they lose it because it's
they
something
cover it up.
And they're like, oh, shit.
They cover it up. There's a lot of stuff about, like, we haven't talked about this on the show, but I would like to. There's a lot of stuff about people saying that there were once giants all over the world, but specifically in America. I mean, there's multiple articles. Like, you can find old newspaper articles where it says that they found, like Bigfoot? There's some Bigfoot stuff, but that's like human beings that were 10 to 12 foot tall that they have found in America. Like farmers found it like back late 1800s, early 1900s.
You told me at one point that's what's in the hills. Like
that's what some of them like. They have like those
like in Tallahassee.
Well, they believe that there's
no mountains.
Not that big, but like large burial mounds that are all over America. They won't excavate them, and some of them they have. Like there was like farmers and stuff that were plowing fields and stuff would come across these massive bones that like a femur, you know, like this, and like like full skeletons and stuff. Have I not talked to you about this?
No, you have not.
Oh, what? Let's talk about.
This is new to me.
I'll do some research and show you some stuff. This is talked about on a ton of podcasts and stuff, but there's a lot of speculation that there was once giants, what we consider a giant, like the whole David and Goliath thing, that's a true story. That Goliath was an actual person, and it comes from the whole Nephilim thing.
You're speaking Spanish.
Okay.
What?
I'll do some research and put some stuff together for next week. I
know David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a fucking moron. I understand that part. But what?
We'll talk about it next week, because I'll get some stuff that I can read to you and show you some pictures and stuff. There's a bunch of wild stuff. I go down the rabbit hole in these podcasts sometimes, and I'm like,
Jeez.
And it's not just one or two. Like, this is
It's
discussed
wait.
on like any of the like major conspiracy podcasts and stuff.
They are discussed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like oh yeah, I heard it in one like Instagram post. This is stuff that people have spent, like, there's podcasts devoted to this topic. By the way, Sam got me this shirt, and I think it's amazing. If you've ever watched Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, this guy is amazing. His hair alone.
I'm pretty sure
Is
he's
amazing.
an alien. I'm pretty sure he's an alien.
I don't know what it is, but it's probably an alien. It's definitely an alien. Like, it's so good.
I saw that shirt on Shein, by the way.
I was like, how much is it? Get it.
No, you didn't know. I ordered
Oh,
it.
it's the Bigfoot. She got me a Bigfoot shirt.
So I bought
Yeah.
the 12-year-old a Bigfoot shirt, and it's Bigfoot taking a selfie with a UFO in the background,
Yeah.
and he's putting up a peace sign, and he was like,
And he's got his tongue out.
Yeah.
He's like,
he'll
and
wear
and I'm
it
like-
on next week's podcast.
I'm like, beautiful. I'll take 2.
But I bought it and I gave it to the oldest, and he was like it. And then when he wore it, this one was like, "Yeah, I really like that shirt. I like shirts." I was like,
Oh, I had made one other note. A bunch of, let me see if I can find it. I should have pulled this up before. A lot of the places in the Grand Canyon are named after Egyptian gods. Like,
"Well, if we don't believe that they were there, why would we name them that?"
that's kind of the point. Let me see if I can find
Did
it.
we do it so they wouldn't doom us?
No, but like, there's a lot of stuff that people talk about too, like with a lot of the buildings in Washington. Like the Washington Monument is a what do they call obelisk?
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's just a straight up. It's if you go to Egypt, it's the exact same thing. Like,
So,
why did we make that? Why?
When we were there for the DC trip, they talked about that a lot of the buildings are mimics of Egyptian, Roman.
All right, here it is. This is Google AI coming in handy. It says several formations within the Grand Canyon are named after Egyptian gods, including the Tower of Ra, Isis Temple, Osiris Temple, and Cheops Pyramid, named after the Egyptian pharaoh Khufu, who built the Great Pyramid of Giza. So there's all these places that it's like, why did you pick Egypt? Have you ever seen this picture? Mm-hmm. Have you seen that? That's the Grand Canyon, and that's in Egypt. And they're saying that's it's the Sphinx, and it's broken. Like, there's a lot of weird.
Because we've had massive war in America in the early ages, so it could have been blown off.
I mean, I still go back. I still think that there's like I think the history of the planet has been lost at some point. I think that it's much older, or I guess human history is much older than we think it is.
So, do you remember I asked you years ago? Because when the oldest was younger, we used to spend a lot of time at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
And I used to ask this all the time, and he told me there's no way you can ever find this. But if I could find a book if I could find 2 books, I'll make it 2 books, okay? So, find me a book that says we are created by aliens and not God, right? and show me that path. But then show me a book that shows me God created us and show me that path. Like, lay it all out for me. I want to, and I know y'all are going to say, well, read the Bible.
Well,
I get it. The Bible is, you can't read the Bible. I'm sorry. The Bible is too difficult to read. You can't, it's
You gotta study. You gotta study it.
Like, you have to study the Bible. I need shorthand dumb ass.
Well,
book.
let me throw this out at you.
Hold on. But then, so we had the alien one, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't include dinosaurs. Aliens don't include dinosaurs. So if the aliens created us, they didn't create the dinosaurs. If God created us, he didn't create the dinosaurs. So then I need a third book, and I need to see where the dinosaurs and the cavemen. So I need about 3 different books for you to prove to me which theory
let me touch on that.
Real.
Am
I stupid?
No, but who's to say that aliens didn't create dinosaurs? If Earth is a ant farm for aliens, who's to say that they didn't put dinosaurs here and they didn't wipe it out and start over, or just an accident happened and a meteor hit it? Who's to say that meteor wasn't some kind of massive nuclear weapon from an alien ship that blew up the planet and just said, all right, we've done this for 600 million years. Let's see what else we can do down here. And they blow up the planet, let the planet regenerate over a few hundred million years.
And then that's when God comes in?
Here's my next point. So God is from the heavens, right? Who's to say that God isn't an alien?
There's a lot of people that believe that. Because he has the halo around him.
But just,
he's always shining.
But just like the story of like the Christian God is a relatively new story compared to other religions. Right?
What other religions?
Everything. Hinduism, even the Jewish religion. I mean,
well, so that's...
and I don't mean to be offensive, but whatever the Chinese, I don't know what the correct term is, but the Chinese religion is massively older than the Christian religion.
Yeah,
everything like but they all have most religions have a story, and Christianity, I'm sorry, stole from all the other religions. That's just what they did, but they all have a story of somebody from the heavens coming down and creating life or giving us life or putting life here. And it's all the same story. It's just different from different cultures. So who's to say that none of them are wrong, but it's just aliens. You've all got it mixed up, and it was literally just aliens. I mean, over thousands of years. Who's to say that an alien wasn't considered a god, and then that became the culture?
Well, so that's my whole thing is y'all can say we know, but we don't know. Like, how long have those been living in the Amazon? There are still people to this day that live in Africa and South America and the Amazon deep. Like, there are
no
many of places in this world on this earth that have no idea we do what we do today. Yeah. They don't have cell phones. They have no electricity.
Well, think about this.
They don't get to go to a supermarket and buy lettuce. No. Like, they're growing shit. They're walking around barefoot. They're walking around naked.
If you took somebody from the rainforest or a tribe or one of these like islands that has nothing, if you just brought them and put them in our house,
which we don't have that much.
Yeah, they would.
Electronics.
But like compared to what they wouldn't even be able to understand electricity.
They wouldn't understand riding in a car.
Like there's people from. I saw something where a guy, I want to say it was from South America. It was on Instagram or TikTok. It was he had family up here, and they brought him up here and this is a developed, I don't know what country it was from or where, but a developed country, not living out in the jungle or anything. They brought him up here and took him to a Costco or a BJ's or Sam's, and he was blown away just by the clothes, just packed. He's like, they have beef. You could just buy beef like this, and they're like, yeah, it's packaged. You just look at this big pack of ground beef, and he was like shocked. And he lives in a developed country. So when you take somebody from like the rainforest or something, I mean, and you bring them here, and I mean, imagine putting somebody in a car and then driving them to just a house and showing them running water and a microwave and a stove and electricity and a TV. Imagine a TV. If you'd never seen a TV in your life, or electricity. Like, it would just be like, are these lights on fire? What is this?
I'll go one a little bit further. I'm assuming they don't have trash cans. They don't have
trash
bags.
They don't have trash. There's no trash.
Well, I mean, like, there's eventually trash. There's carcass and this and that. But, like,
that just gets buried.
I guess.
There's no trash.
So
we have trash because we have stuff that doesn't rot away.
Right.
So if they have
at the trash can, they don't have this.
If they have an animal, like when it gets down to just the bones, they either use the bones for something, or they just drag it back out in the jungle and bury it.
A lot of them use it for a bone marrow.
Yeah.
Like they drink
there is no, like, and if they have to take a crap, they go out in the woods. There is no trash. They don't throw anything away.
So I think that's my biggest problem with a lot of people in America today, where they want this AI. They want these smart cars.
Oh no.
They want these phones that can do everything for you. Copilot. You want Copilot to write your emails and write your Teams messages and capture everything. There are places that don't even know what a computer and a phone are. Like,
you're getting like angry about it.
No,
like, those people are fine.
I kind of am because
it's not their fault. They're happy with it.
The whole AI thing is starting to piss me off. We don't need AI. Y'all need to stop.
I don't like AI.
Have y'all ever seen the movie WALL-E? Y'all want to end up like a bunch of fat fucks on a spaceship that can't do anything?
Okay. Settle down.
Nope. That's where I'm at with the whole AI thing. I'm so sick of it. I don't want it. Okay. Stop it.
We don't like AI.
I can have an entire podcast about why I don't want AI.
Well, we've all seen Terminator. That's all you need to know.
Well, there you go.
Terminator. We're hitting like 8,000 topics here. But you're throwing everything off here. We're talking about other stuff.
I'm just saying,
you're getting me on the AI.
I'm just saying, like, the way we live in those that don't have what we have is way different. And
I think AI is terrifying.
And
I don't want to dive into that.
We can dive into the next one.
But yeah,
I'll take some notes. I hate AI.
You don't need to take
AI.
notes. It's absolutely terrifying, and
everyone's terrified of it.
It's at the bare minimum, it eliminates a ton of jobs, and I don't mean a ton by like 10,000. I mean
billions.
70% of the jobs. Like, it's not good. Like, unless the government is going to pay for everything, which is, then you start getting into like socialism and stuff. But like, it does not seem like a good thing. Like, it's great for businesses, but if nobody has any money to buy anything because nobody has a job, that's not going to work.
No one's going to come buy the food
right.
at your food processing plant because they're out of a job because you put a robot in there.
We're gonna be down in Guatemala or something, or maybe we'll go live in the Grand Canyon.
Maybe we can just go live in Indonesia and just crap in the woods and bathe in a tub and.
Well, we won't have to, but our kids might. I don't know.
I don't know. 2032. All hell maybe.
How many years is that?
Loose.
What is that? 7 years?
Yeah, we gotta start preparing. Those kids better start digging a bit bigger hole.
Well, it's supposed to, like we talked about, it's supposed to hit in like Africa, so is where they were projecting.
But if you wipe out those countries, we're going to have impact.
I don't know. That was the whole thing. Like, because I've always heard and the movies and the movies and stuff where it hits and then it throws up a giant dust cloud or whatever, which creates global cooling
The mushroom.
and all that because it blocks out the sun. But I'm assuming from the couple articles I read that this asteroid's not that big. But it seems like, if something the size of the Empire State
I
Building,
mean, if you're gonna write a freaking article about it,
I think
it's big enough to worry.
worry.
Thank you.
The one I think in Armageddon, I think they said was like the size of Texas or something.
It
Like
was.
that's like, yeah, so maybe that's the disconnect. Is like it would have to be
So we
size of a
So
state.
we base real world events on movies.
I'm
that we
assuming
watch.
Bruce Willis,
is currently sick. Like he ain't doing
Sam,
shit.
he would not do a movie that wasn't realistic. Obviously,
Yeah,
like-
because his whole crap. Why can't I think of? I could think of the tower.
yeah. What is it? You don't know. I know what you're talking about, but you don't know. What's the movie? What's the movie called?
Die Hard.
Ah, she got it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Nakatomi. There we go. See? I had it.
I want one of those shirts. Have you seen
Oh
those?
my God.
It says
Am I li-
Nakatomi Christmas Party or something, like 1988.
Yeah, my boss said he has a shirt that says that, and he was going to wear it, but he didn't think anyone in our group would know it because everyone's younger than us.
They're all 12, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap this puppy up. We got into some stuff that was too serious. I think next week we get a little crazy, do some shotguns, maybe bring out the pump, shotgun thing.
Wait, what's next week?
I don't know.
Do I have something next week?
Next week would be episode 40. So that's a nice round number. We'll do some shotguns and maybe we...
We started filming this before I started my job.
Okay.
It was the weekend before.
Okay. Cool. We got some topics to talk about next week. We're going to do some shotguns and probably get a whole bunch of burps out of you. All right?
Okay.
Deal. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. You just going to eat popcorn?
So hungry.
We'll just sit here. This is what happens to the podcast ends. We just sit here.
I haven't had anything good to eat today. Nothing. And last night,
I made you breakfast.
I had a biscuit and bacon.
Well, I offered to make you eggs.
I know, I was trying to be healthy.
Eggs are healthy.
I know.
You turned down the eggs.
I'm tired
That's
of
your
the
fault.
eggs. And last night I didn't eat the tortilla on my taco.